So my official name is Julian Oughtibridge, although everybody knows me as Jools, and it's been that for about 10 years. Not quite sure why it migrated into Jools, but it did, and it sort of stuck. The only thing it's on is official documents now. I really should get that changed, I think. Highlight of my presenting career. I think every day, if I'm honest. That sounds really twee. That sounds really naff, but I look forward to every day. I'm usually on 5-6 days a week, depending on where I am, who I'm with, etc. Probably the very first show that I ever did before news was quite a highlight. To actually being given the power of a microphone for 2 hours. The day has sort of lives with me forever. 27th of December 2013, first day ever on radio to about 4 listeners, which that's about right for my shows, not a news hub though. And lowlights, the very first station I was on, it closed. Going for a community license, closed due to lack of funding. It was hemorrhaging cash. Very quickly, 60-70 quid a week it was losing, and it was to very few listeners. It went for its license and didn't get it in 2014. So that was a shame, and the fact that the station sort of folded before I got a chance to say goodbye, and that sounds really sad, really. All the other I was actually away on the weekend that it folded, and so my shows were all recorded. I take great pride in the fact that I don't like people to cover my shows when I can do them myself. But everybody else got the opportunity to say goodbye, whereas my shows were all really happy. And then the station just shut. Literally, the plug was pulled, and so I never got a chance to say goodbye. But there you go. That's 5-6 years ago. So furthest place I've driven to. That would probably be Le Mans in France. I'm a huge petrol head. There's nothing that I won't follow in terms of Formula One, rallying, World Endurance, which is what the race at Le Mans is. We did that in a Citroen Berlingo van, which was woefully overloaded. We go camping, and there was so much stuff in that van. How it fitted, I will never know. But so 1,200 miles round trip. 1,200 miles we did round trip. I'd like to do more. I'd like to drive to Spain. That's one thing. It's an awfully long way, but that's somewhere that I think I would like to drive one day. Last famous person I followed on social media. I don't tend to follow famous people. There are famous people in my who I follow on social media, but not particularly. There's a few people. It's usually people in the radio industry or in the media industry in general that I tend to follow. But celebrity, it's good for news, but it's not really anything for me. Just seeing the next question. Do you have a favourite shirt? I am quite known for bright and interesting shirts. I am wearing one today. Not particularly. It's just literally what comes out of the wardrobe that day. So this is one. I quite like this one. I like bright colours. I either go for bright colours or black. There's sort of no in between. How long can I go without coffee? Well, since the lockdown, I've not had a cup of coffee for about 9 weeks. I don't do instant, really. I do have various coffee machines that we have in the house. So I have an espresso machine. My other half has a Tassimo machine and a Dolce Gusto, and we have a filter machine, and we have an espresso maker. So coffee is something that is quite. It usually powers me through days and night shifts when I between all the jobs that I do. There are times when I do a day shift, then a night shift, then a day shift, then a night shift. So that's why I have my love of coffee. But I've probably not had a coffee since the start of April. Favourite chocolate bar? If I'm going to be really picky, it would have to be a double decker, but it would be a frozen one. Once been in the in the freezer for a good couple of days. Nothing worse than biting into a soggy chocolate bar and it just going everywhere and stuff like that. So a double decker, but frozen, so it's absolutely rock hard. Strangest thing about lockdown. Seeing my other half more, who is currently sat over my AirWatch to my left at the moment. Her shifts have changed, my shifts have changed at News Hub and in the other jobs as well. So it's been quite nice starting later and seeing my other half. My other half is very patient. She understands the obsession that radio becomes. So she's very tolerant. There are times when I've been broadcasting from campsites and things like that, and doing stuff for social media that most normal women would not put up with at all. I used to host social media hours on Twitter for free, and we did one. I did used to do one for Hull, and I ran it once from a branded coffee shop. They're not going to get an advert unless they're going to give me some freebies. But it was in the middle of December in a shopping centre in Hull, and we'd been doing the Christmas lights and doing the stuff from there, and all she wanted to do was go home. It was absolutely freezing, and all I was interested in was going and finding somewhere to find Wi-Fi to then, or tether off my phone, to run this Twitter hour. And if I'm honest, I should never have to put anybody in that position. Favourite TV actor or actress? I quite like a lot. To be honest, I don't get a lot of time to watch television. Usually it's whether I was watching cookery programmes, or the new obsession in lockdown is gardening. Yeah, costing me a fortune. But I will watch anybody really. There's a vast range of stuff. So I don't particularly have, I won't say one particular favourite. It's just a range. Like I like dramas and stuff like that, like West Wing and still NCIS and stuff like that. So no particular favourite, but I do like a range. Pizza or pasta? Depends if I'm in or out. Pasta's easy because when you're at home. I mean, pizza's easy, just obviously chuck it in the oven. So I would probably say pizza, but no pineapple on pizzas. That is wrong. Good singer and karaoke choice. I like to think I'm a good singer. In my time of driving to the office, I do like to get the tunes up nice and loud. Karaoke choice, maybe a bit of Rick Astley. 80s stuff really is sort of my genre. I do try and belt it out, but probably not to the best of. Well, nobody listened to it anyway. Who would win an X Factor competition? That's a tricky one. I don't think I've heard anybody in the office sing. Obviously, usually so manically busy. So I will probably say Steph. There you go. That's a little challenge for you. We will have maybe as a future get together an X Factor competition in the office. City I would like to visit. Ooh, it's quite a few. Relatively well travelled in the UK. Thanks to my parents when I was younger. Trips off with a caravan to random places for a couple of weeks. I've done the European. Not done many of the European capital. I've never been to Barcelona. I've not done Berlin. I've done Paris. I'd like to go to Le Mans, the city. Obviously, I've been to the racing, and you sort of get mixed up in all that, and you don't get to see the architecture of other places. So there are lots on the list, obviously, when restrictions are lifted. Horror or comedy? Horror's not something I'm really into. I will watch the odd one, but more comedy, I would say. Last film I turned off or walked out of. Never walked out of a film, ever. If I'm paying XYZ quid for a ticket, I'm not going to walk out. But turned off, to be fair, I would usually fall asleep rather than actually turn it off. Favourite author? don't really have much time for reading books. I've got lots of books that sort of statement pieces, but no real favourite author. I'm more of a factual reader. I like to read about things rather than stories. Cats or dogs? Well, we have cats next door that come into the house and think that they own the place, as cats generally do, but definitely dogs would be my personal preference. Best sporting event? The best sporting event I've seen. Le Mans 24 Hours in 2017 takes a lot of beating. To be there with 250,000 people around an 8 and a bit mile circuit, that takes a lot of beating. The day of recording this, actually, it's 3 years since I was at the Monaco Grand Prix. There's a theme you can see going on here. Spa, Formula 1, been there. Silverstone British Grand Prix, that works well. To pick one, that's quite difficult. I'll probably say it's a toss-up between Le Mans 24 Hours in 2017, where I was with my other half, camping for the week, or the British Grand Prix, but really weirdly, the qualifying session on the Saturday in 1992. It was the year, the time of Mansell, and Senna was in the McLaren, Schumacher and Brundle in the Benetton. The reason I say that is I was with my father, who I was with the year before in 91, but my mum was there in 92. My mum became a massive Formula 1 fan. Both of them were massive fans before they died. So it's a toss-up between those two. And who at News Hub is likely to least enjoy doing this? I know other people have said Dave. Probably that is the case. I mean, we all hide behind our microphones, so you don't really see us like this usually. So I will probably say Dave, but it might surprise us when Dave's video appears. You never know what might happen.